Well, I got my new tank for the Camaro and getting ready to put things back together. Here's a picture of it actually after it is together. Uh, the tank was, I bought a Dorman. It was direct shipped. My only disappointment was it really took kind of a beating in transit. You can see the box is a little beat up. The filler neck actually comes sticking out of the box, so it's pretty exposed. And so, like I say, I was a little bit disappointed. You'll see here the tank corners got a little bit dinged. But I was able to straighten things out. I touched it up with some gray paint, and seems like it wasn't going to hurt the function of it, so I went ahead with it as is, just a kind of a caution if you mail order one. Then I got a few pictures here of the tank. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I know I showed you the inside of the tank in the last video, but I'm going to come back and replow some ground so you can see kind of how it looked when it came out of the car and and how it comes apart. I'm going to open this up now and pull out the sending unit because I'm about ready to put the new one together, and I want to make it match. I have a new sending unit, a new fuel pump, and all the pieces to build the new system to match the old system. But so I'm going to pull it out and show you what the inside of the tank looks like. Get this fuel filter sock out first. There we go. Then I can turn it. And there it is. That's the animal. So I look at all the crud all the way up. Of course, there was over 10 gallons of gas in there, but you can look at you can see the rust and corrosion all over the entire assembly here. So if you get down here. If you get down here and look at the tank, you can see down inside that it's pretty grubby. I put a screwdriver in the sludge down there, and it's pretty deep. It's probably 3/4 of an inch deep. I don't think there's much hope of getting that cleaned out. You can see the rust on the bottom that would totally mess up any any new fuel pump. I don't see any good way of getting that clean. So we'll just kind of walk down here. You can see the pump and so forth. So that's the current status. When you go look at the new one, of course, nice and clean. Everything's in good shape, as you would expect for being new. This one's galvanized with paint on top of the galvanized. It's a nice material. So that's where I'm headed next. You can see here's a parts list of everything I chose to put the system back together, starting with that Dorman tank there in the middle. It was a collection of parts, largely what was available in stock at the time I put my orders in. The fuel sender is Spectra, and looks like a pretty nice unit. We'll see how well it performs, but it looked like a quality piece, and it came with this kit of components for installation. I used the Denso pump, which is a turbine-style pump. I bought a pulsator and reinstalled it using the pulsator that the factory had in, even though the turbine pump probably really doesn't have to have it. And this is what that pulsator looks like. Here you can see the tank all fully reassembled and ready to go back into the car. I did roll the tank upside down with an ohm meter on the sending unit to make sure that it ran through its full range. Um, Probably my biggest challenge on the final assembly was the tape. I really couldn't find tape that matched the original tank, so I found a substitute. It's a PVC roofing tape that I cut to width, and it took with a dial caliper. I measured the original tape, and it took 4 layers of this tape to match. And I also had a strategy since sometimes the tanks don't want to line up. It looked like if I adjusted the amount of tape I had from corner to corner, that I could probably realign the filler neck in the car. Here's an example. This is what the tape was. Here you can see I've got the tank back up in the car. Straps are on, and things are going back together. The exhaust is up, and I got it all back together.
The car is now sitting on its wheels, all 4 of them, and the gas tank is in. The exhaust is hooked up. Just note that the fuel tank is in, and the light's not so good back here, but let's put a little light on it. So there's the gas cap and the filler, and if I pull the gas cap off, one of the things that I had seen online was that there was a lot of trouble getting filler necks to line up. All I could say is this Dorman tank went right in. It fits in the pocket. It's actually a better alignment than the original factory tank. than the original factory tank was.
Just for reference, here are a couple of pictures of the original tank before I pulled it out.
So that went well. The only real trick was that I had to get a new gas cap. The factory cap didn't fit this tank, and so before I installed the cap, or before I installed the tank, I should say, I contacted Dorman, it's Dorman tank, and they advised me that they were using this different Stant tank cap. 10834 I think is the number. Anyway, it would fit a more modern GM car. In particular, it fits a 2010 Camaro, 2010 to 15. So it's still a Camaro cap. It's just from 20 whatever plus years newer. So anyway, time to get organized, get back under hood here. The key items are to get the belts on and tensioned. I have a brand new alternator to go in this spot here. The pipe that's laying up on the intake manifold is for the heater core, and I need to start running all those hoses and get things in place. Put on the fuel rails and the injectors. And we'll be on our way to putting the wiring in and trying to see if it'll start.